Thank you very much for choosing SCW right here on youtube.com. Steve Chats Wrestling, thank you very much. Please subscribe to this channel now, like the videos, and as well leave in the comments if you have them in the comments section. Just before we start this video, I want to thank everybody who checked the video out for the Eric Young debut. His arrival in NXT. Over 3,000 hits. That's the first time that's happened to me, to even hit over 500, over 1,000, all those numbers. So really appreciate everyone taking the time to click on the videos. And it really it makes me feel more motivated than ever to keep doing this. So I just want to say thank you very much to everyone who has checked it out and shown their support to SCW. So thank you very much for that. This video that we're going to be doing now for you now is the full preview and predictions as well for WWE Payback, which is going to air in just a few short hours time. Now the rumours have been rife, as you can imagine what will happen over the last few weeks, and we've covered that extensively either on this channel as well as my podcast as well, the SCW Wrestling Podcast. But yeah, so we're going to give you the full preview and predictions for you here. Going to start with the pre-show as always. So it's the United States Championship, Kalisto versus Ryback. Now, of course, it's been very poor really with the booking for this. Even the fact we've got this again, the United States title should not be on a pre-show. Even question its relevance in WWE now. Is this title really losing all of its meaning? It's not really seeming to have a place or even a clear indication of what it fully represents anymore, you know, because we're not having clear indication of maybe before when, say, Rusev held the belt, was anti-America, Americans going for the belt. What does the belt really represent anymore? Is it, you know, for someone of the smaller generation, the smaller class of wrestlers like Kalisto who holds it? Clearly not, because we have a big guy in Ryback. It seems to be a David versus Goliath story here with this feud. But it's a feud that kind of built up to WrestleMania, and these guys have barely really done anything since. They've had one match which was in the O2 in the UK on SmackDown, which Ryback won, which has granted him this rematch at the title. The fact it's on the pre-show seems to me that this really has not really got any relevance going forward, which is a shame really for both superstars. And for me, I'm going to go for a Kalisto victory. It would be kind of interesting if Ryback won the belt and maybe he was the guy that was holding it until, say, Cena come back, and then Cena goes back into the US title picture. But at the moment, I don't quite see that happening. From what my understanding is that WWE are happy with Kalisto as the champion. Therefore, I think he will retain. So, yeah, that's my prediction. We'll go on to the main show. We're going to start off with the WWE Tag Team Tournament, the number one contender tournament, the Vaudevillains against Enzo and Big Kaz. Of course, sponsored by Bootios for any New Day fans out there. I expect the New Day to be at ringside, perhaps either taking over the commentary table like they did on SmackDown, or certainly being with the commentary team. Perhaps as a pay-per-view, you'd imagine they were probably with the commentary team. It's expected maybe to be a bit hectic on the mic. As for the match itself, well, both teams are new from NXT. Enzo and Big Kaz seems superbly over here. Vaudevillains, though, are perhaps a natural fit for the initial feud with the New Day going ahead into the early part of the summer. You would look and say that it would be the face versus heel. It would really solidify the New Day as faces, so that would make perfect sense for the Vaudevillains to go there. And perhaps as well, we could see a back and forth with the titles, perhaps with Extreme Rules and Money in the Bank, but we're not there yet for this evening. I'm going to go for the Vaudevillains. Will there be people that maybe might cost Enzo and Big Kaz? Could the Dudley Boys do that? It's something to think about. It could happen, but either way, I'm looking potentially that the Vaudevillains would do it, because Enzo and Big Kaz had their journey in NXT being the team that didn't win the Tag Team Championships. I would find it very unlikely that they would come to WWE and straight just top the Tag Team Tournament. It wouldn't make a lot of sense booking-wise to do that, even though they are insanely over. I mentioned them to have a feud with the New Day eventually, perhaps in time for SummerSlam maybe. Would make sense to have that match then. As for what perhaps is seen as maybe one of the lesser pay-per-view events, I'm going to go for the Vaudevillains. Next off, I'm going to go for the Intercontinental Championship match. The Miz with Maurice against the challenger Cesaro. A lot of people will be going for Cesaro. I think Cesaro is a great athlete, should be the holder of the Intercontinental Championship, will be the right guy to take it forward into the summer of 2016 to make the belt have its full relevance that it should do going into the top tier title picture after holding it. As though for this evening, I can't see the Swiss Man winning. Now, I think he's eventually going to win the belt, and I think he's going to win it from The Miz in 3 weeks Extreme Rules. I've said that before, and I'm going to say that again. I think that The Miz is going to win on this particular occasion, because he's got Maurice there for his backup. She will be the strength to his weakness. I look that they've repackaged him as well as Cesaro, but Miz has had severe repackaging. It just seems too soon for a Miz to drop the belt so quickly, because if he drops the belt at this pay-per-view, the chances are he will probably get lost in obscurity once again on the card. So I can't quite see him losing the belt just yet. I expect him to hold it for another 3 weeks. So expect the Miz maybe for a cheating victory, maybe this evening, maybe even a DQ, something, just to give Cesaro another chance of maybe going for the belt in 3 weeks' time at Extreme Rules. Next on the card, we'll look at Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho, a match that perhaps should have happened at WrestleMania 32. It didn't in the end. It's happening at this event. The build-up has been okay. It's been quite steady. It seems to be over a talk show, and seems to be, you know, some fairly entertaining segments we've had on Raw and SmackDown. I'm looking at this match, really, it's going to be the match to build Dean Ambrose up. Jericho has had pretty strong booking in 2016, been beating the likes of AJ Styles, who is now the #1 contender, has won against other credible people as well. So you would expect that maybe Jericho's looked strong here, maybe to give Dean Ambrose the momentum going forward. So I'm going to go for a Dean Ambrose victory. I don't expect the feud to finish after this evening, but I expect Ambrose to get a clean victory. Next, we'll look at Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, the match I'm most looking forward to this evening. My one disappointment, if this was to happen, would be if this was the opening match of the night. I think that it has a potential that it could be, or the Intercontinental title match could be the opening match, because you know that this match is going to get people off their seats. It's going to be a show stealer with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I hope that it is put somewhere in the middle of the card. I think that perhaps for logical sense, both seem to be on a losing streak. The video package on Raw explained the feud perfectly. It's been building since the start of NXT and a friendship of 14 years. It's been very nice to see some very clever face and heel tactics as well on that video promo. So if you haven't seen it, go back and check out Raw now just for that video promo alone. Sami Zayn not had the best win record on the road to Payback, and neither has Kevin Owens, to be fair, but both have picked up victories in the last week or so. Kevin Owens winning in the UK SmackDown in a tag team match with Chris Jericho over Dean Ambrose and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn picking up a win on Raw over Rusev. I'm expecting for this feud to continue. One or two things is going to happen tonight. Either Kevin Owens is going to win via cheating, or Sami Zayn is going to actually get a quick victory, like a roll-up or something, and probably get attacked after the match, and maybe a powerbomb on the apron. I kind of like the sound of the second idea more, the more I've been thinking about it the last few days, so I hope that happens. But I kind of expect maybe Kevin Owens might get a cheap victory this evening. I'm expecting this feud to carry on for a little while, so I'm expecting maybe Owens potentially to pick up the victory. Looking down the card as well, we've got some more matches. Of course, the Women's Championship match. Natalia is the challenger with Bret Hart in her corner, be facing the champion Charlotte and Ric Flair. It's a carbon copy of NXT TakeOver from a couple of years ago. I'm expecting Charlotte to retain the belt. She's not held it for very long. It makes sense for her to win on this occasion. I'm expecting, of course, some sort of altercation with Bret Hart and Ric Flair, but I reckon Ric Flair will still find his way to just get interference enough for Natty to be distracted to lose this match. I expect this match to continue as well to Extreme Rules, and I think that is when you get the true one-on-one match. But although it's supposed to even the odds this match, I'm expecting Ric Flair to still be involved somewhere. Next, we'll talk about Vince McMahon. Where is Raw going? The control of Raw. Stephanie McMahon with the authority, or is it going to stay with Shane McMahon? Now, clearly, it's not made sense all along since WrestleMania what's going on here. We have no real clue, really, why Shane McMahon's been given control for so long since he lost the stipulation match at WrestleMania. It really harms stipulations in future for this sort of thing, where they're that big. But we're expecting, there's been a few rumours of a brand extension, a brand split could be announced this evening, but it seems both people want Raw. So I'm expecting not a brand split, I'm expecting a co-ownership. I reckon this is going to be the start to the big summer angle she want of fighting for control of Raw. Could a brand split happen? Maybe, but I don't expect it to be just yet. I'm expecting the co-ownership of Raw. Potentially Raw then could open up who will control Raw, maybe in a Shane McMahon versus Triple H match, or even superstars representing each side for the next pay-per-view at Extreme Rules. But we'll wait and see what happens, but I'm going to predict a co-ownership of that match. Looking through the card, there's also Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. Expect Baron Corbin to start his reel. He's had momentum all the way through so far. Dolph Ziggler finally getting a little bit of mark of revenge on Raw by just attacking him on the ramp, but Corbin managed to get away quite safely. I expect that Corbin's going to be perhaps a big deal at some point later this year. I expect him to start up by getting a victory in the pay-per-view against Dolph Ziggler. Looking through the card there, that leaves one match left to go, and of course, perhaps it's the most talk-worthy, the World Heavyweight Championship, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. I expect Roman Reigns to walk away with the belt, whatever happens. Is Finn Balor going to make his debut tonight? Heavily rumoured that it will happen. I think that, if you ask me, the clever move would be to delay it further. Why storylines need to be so rushed sometimes? Let's delay it a little bit. Let's just go with this evening with Gallows and Anderson. The ref bump maybe happens. They attack Roman Reigns, and AJ Styles refuses to pick up the victory through cheating, and it will cost him ultimately the match. This could then lead to a rematch, potentially at Extreme Rules, and that could be the time maybe when Finn Balor then comes in, and then the Balor Club cost AJ Styles, leading to a big feud with Finn Balor and AJ Styles going into the summer. That would be what I would like. Finn Balor, he could turn up tonight. He's expected backstage. That is for definite. Definitely keep the rumour mill going. That's according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. Anyway, that is what could happen with Finn Balor being backstage. Is he going to make an appearance? We'll wait and see. Either way, whatever happens tonight, Roman Reigns is walking away with the title. One other speculation is maybe could there be time for a Sheamus, Rusev and Alberto Del Rio triple threat match? The League of Nations did break up on SmackDown. Not sure if it will happen, but for me, it would make sense just to close that chapter as quick as possible, give these guys their singles push, although it probably has harmed them having tag team matches in the future with this breakup, and the heel side so kind of weak at the moment. To have these guys as free heels and then not being able to team anymore kind of makes your tag team feuds a little bit frosty in the future, or potentially some bad booking if they're just thrown together again and they act like nothing has happened. But if that match was to happen, I would go for potentially Rusev is the youngest and freshest and would be best for him making an impact. Although, really, any of the three could win that match. But that would be what I would do. But that's your full preview and predictions then of the pay-per-view this evening, WWE Payback. What would you like to see happen? Who do you think is going to win? Leave your comments in the comment section. You've been watching SCW, and please subscribe to this channel now. Thank you very much for choosing this channel and watching me right here on YouTube.com.